Hi, I'm Kelly McCoy, Anti-Speeds designer, and I'm going to be demonstrating how to make wrap bracelets. The materials needed for this project include a nipper tool, some GS Hypo cement, a 2-yard coil of cow leather. If you're doing a 7-inch bracelet, you really only need 1 yard. If you're doing a 14-inch bracelet to wrap around your wrist twice, you'll need the whole 2 yards. You'll need some beading thread. You'll need probably about 5 feet of it for your 7-inch bracelet and about 10 feet for a 14-inch. You'll need beading needles in a size 10. You'll need 2 of these paper clips. You can find these at any office supply store. And you'll need a beading board. You can use this small size if you're doing the 7-inch bracelet, and if you're doing a 14-inch bracelet, you'll probably want to get the larger size. And all of these supplies can be found at antispeeds.com. So the first thing you're going to want to do is thread your needle. I've already got mine ready to go. What you want to do is cut off your piece of thread twice as big as you need, because we're going to double it up. So I cut 10 feet of thread, strung it through the needle, and I've got it folded over. And this way we don't have to worry about it falling off the needle while we're trying to stitch, and it's actually going to be stronger. Okay, so get the end of your thread that does not have the needle on it ready, and grab your 1 yard of cow leather for your 7-inch bracelet. Fold it in half, so we've got a little loop here, because this is going to actually end up being part of your clasp at the end. So hold this and the thread together, and we're going to tie them in a knot together, just a regular overhand knot. I'll show that. You just like loop and pull it through the loop. You guys know how to do that. Okay, don't make your loop too big, because like I said, this is going to be part of your clasp at the end, so you don't want this to be gigantic or anything. Tighten the leather. Be careful with your thread. It's in there too, it's delicate. And that's actually a little, maybe on the big side for the loop. It'll work, but aim for your loop to be slightly smaller. Okay, so what we want to do next is grab these paper clips, and we're going to clamp it down to the bead board. Okay, the first thing we want to do before we start adding beads is we have to knot the thread to one of the pieces of leather so that the stitch doesn't unravel when we're finished. So what you want to do is take your needle, go down here through the center, pull up, then come around this other side, stick it through the loop you made. We're just knotting to the leather. Two things to watch out for, I'll tell you now. Your thread's going to get stuck on this, and your thread's going to get stuck on this corner. So just watch out. Okay, so you've got it knotted to the leather. Pull it pretty tight, and we're going to put a drop of cement on there, just to make sure it doesn't come undone. And I'm going to go ahead and put cement all over this knot too, to make it more secure. This way it can dry while we're stitching. Okay, let's add some beads. All you have to do first is come down here with your needle, through the center, and up. Okay, now we're ready to add. So grab a bead with your beading needle. I've got these 8mm pewter glass pearls. Let it drop. Okay. And what we're going to do next is go around this first piece of leather and underneath it. Okay, then back through the bead going the other direction. Okay, you see the thread is on top of this first piece of leather. I'm going to go under it. And pick up another bead. Do the exact same thing. Let it go to the center. Go around. Around and up. Sorry about that, the cameraman was making faces at me. Through the bead, going the other direction, over this first piece of leather, and pull. And like any stitch, starting this is the hardest part. You know, you've got to get it to start looking how it's supposed to look. You've got to get the structure going. Once you're an inch or two into this, you're going to think it's easy because it's just repetitive. So again, underneath and up through the middle. So you can see it's starting to take shape. And we're just going to do the same thing we've been doing. Grab the bead around and up through the center of the second piece of leather. Pull through the bead going the opposite direction over the first piece of leather and pull. And what you want to do is, like, it needs to be tight but not too tight. Okay, so once you've gone as far as you're going to go, whether that's 7 inches or 14 inches, what we're going to do to finish off the bracelet is knot the thread to the leather again, just like we did at the beginning. So bring it up through the center and make a loop. Stick the needle through the center of the loop and pull. Okay, so now it's knotted, just like we did at the beginning. I'm going to put a drop of cement on it. And then also put a line of cement, maybe an inch down the leather. And then lay your thread down into the line of glue you just made. Okay, give that maybe a minute to set. And then we can just snip the thread off. And that's a good feeling because you're done with your stitching. Okay, you can unclamp your bracelet. What we're going to do is take both pieces of leather together, and we're going to do an overhand knot just like we did at the beginning. So make a loop, you know, around your finger. Stick the leather through. Okay, so cut this extra thread off and take each piece of leather, knot it again, kind of push it down while you're letting it tie so that it knots on top of itself. This is probably almost big enough, but like I said at the beginning, my loop was kind of large, so I'll make it maybe one more knot big. Okay. Something like that is probably about the right size. Okay, after you've tested it out to make sure that it works well with your size of loop, you can go ahead like we did with the other knot and put some hypo cement on it to make sure it does not come apart. And after you've glued, very last step of the whole project, yay, you can take your nipper tool, trim closely, And when that glue dries, you are done. Again, this is Kelly McCoy, Auntie's Beads Designer, and I've really enjoyed showing you how to make wrap bracelets. If you have any questions or comments about the video, join us on the Auntie's Beads Facebook, and don't forget to press like.